What's going on? Sound like you're still in the car.
Yeah, I'm just now leaving Cleveland.
Oh, we gotta get back about the same time then. Yeah. Hey, I got 2 more stops up here. Then I gotta deliver something in Perrysburg.
Okay.
And I was thinking about having a beer, and then maybe I'll buy you a
right, let's go. Shaky, shaky. Shaky, shaky. Shaky bakey.
Whole bunch of active warrants. Actually, it seems like most of the people are Islamic leaders, by the way. But we are not a party to this. So I get what you're saying, that, like, this is how you play to your base, you play to your TikTok crowd and your Instagram crowd. But at some point, you've got to be the adult, right? You've got to say bluntly, look, there's nothing I can do here. Not say, well, it's not my fault I can't do anything. I'd really like to do something here. I mean, I respect the rule of law. Clearly, you're making it sound like you are somehow handcuffed uniquely, when in fact only the federal government deals with these things.
Yeah, that's correct. And it only deals with things for institutions that we participate in. It's funny that he made this announcement now. I mean, he's talked about prosecuting Netanyahu even before he was elected, but he made this latest announcement the same week that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who does represent the United States foreign policy, has announced that America is going to dismantle the ICC because it's a threat to America and because its judges don't do actual justice. So he is now trying to strengthen this institution that the United States has basically declared itself to be at war with.
I have your piece here, and you're right, and we kind of already teased this. I don't want to bury the lead. Foreign policy is exclusively a federal domain, but Mamdani regularly invoked. You just went over this. Ironically, there are some ICC crimes New York could prosecute, but they are alleged offenses by the organization's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan. His unprecedented charges against Israeli officials were issued just as allegations surfaced that he had been accused by an employee of repeated sexual assault, while Khan was the existence of his Israel investigation to sideline the charges against him. One of the alleged incidents took place at the Millennium Hotel near the United Nations, yet New York authorities have not sought to charge Khan as they did Harvey Weinstein, nor is Mamdani threatening to arrest Khan. Is he protected by diplomatic immunity?
No, because the United States is not a member of the ICC. He's not a diplomat as far as the United States is concerned.
I'd love to hear what Jack Smith has to say about this.
Yeah, he could be prosecuted.
So because if we were signatories, would he have diplomatic immunity technically?
Yeah, he would have ICC immunity by virtue of us agreeing to it. But right now, he's just a private citizen as far as the United States is concerned.
And they're not going to do anything about that?
I haven't heard the mayor talking about maybe he doesn't care about sexual assault.
If you were trying to run an intellectual argument here, and we were in your class, and you said, okay, Mr. Wilkow, you are going to take the side of Democrats who think that Mamdani would be just here. Could you make that argument just to make it in the classroom? I mean, even if it's, look, I've always said this, I've never taught a college class, but if somebody wrote a paper, there's a difference between somebody who's like, I just think like socialism is like really good. Like, okay, if somebody wrote a paper for me, and their argument was steeped in logic and research, even if I disagree with the premise, if my goal is to reward them for making an argument, regardless of how I feel about it, then I would reward that person with a good grade. So how would I get a good grade if you told me I was on Mondani's side of a classroom debate?
It's an absolutely baseless argument, which is why none of his lawyers have come up with any justification. If any of his legal team trying to please him could come up with even a half-baked argument, he would run with it. Rather, he went to his legal team and they said, sorry, boss, there's nothing.
So this is just a matter of desire then?
Desire and publicity seeking. And try, demonizing.
I mean, there has to be one person who's like had some kooky theory, because I threw one out earlier that, now that we're exposed to go, I'm going to take us a little off a tangent. And I said, I wonder if there's some Democrat who's going to say, okay, we accept all this voter fraud stuff. And you go, wait a second. If Trump technically won the 2020 election, that would mean he was disqualified in 2024. Now, the Supreme Court would likely say he was never certified as the winner, and he was obviously never inaugurated. But you can see someone going, but if he technically did win the election, then he would be disqualified for what would be his third. At least you have something to make the argument as likely as it would be, overwhelmingly likely to be shot down. I'm trying to think of something in this. Somebody had to have. They tried something. Somebody spitballed this one.
No.
Nothing.
And by the way, he's been saying this for a long time. This is, I think it has an emotional appeal to him. I think it has a political resonance. I think he likes to talk about Israel and genocide in the same sentence because the more you repeat that, the more it kind of embeds in the public mind. But he's been saying this since he was like a candidate. So I don't think he went and got legal advice on it. And when he did, right.
What about the supposed meeting with the Iranian diplomat? He says he didn't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that. But the Logan Act is a real thing.
Right.
Mayors do things like, we're going to declare this a sister city and we're going to exchange keys to the city and stuff like that. I don't know if that's a violation of the Logan Act, but when you start, I'm old enough to remember when they said Trump should be arrested for the meeting in Trump Tower, right, with a Russian lawyer. So what would Mamdani's people seeking to accomplish? What would they be seeking to accomplish in meeting with a diplomat or any representative of a country that we're at war with? Well, at war with, even if we're not.
But the fact that we are at war makes it so much more serious. The Logan Act has never been strictly applied. In fact,
John Kerry,
people have meetings with all kinds of foreign officials all the time. But when we're actually at war, to try to have your own private diplomacy.
Technically, war has not been declared, so
war doesn't have to be declared though to exist. Right?
That's true.
They are a country that is conducting hostilities, killing American servicemen. And it's one thing if you're a licensed U.S. diplomat, right? If you are Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, that have been given the job by the American government to conduct diplomacy, but nobody gave them this job. So presumably they're just like the company.
All right, let me finish with this. We're talking to Eugene Kondorovich. He's got a piece at the City Journal. He's the senior legal counsel at Advancing American Freedom and a professor at George Mason's Antonin Scalia School of Law. I don't like the idea that you can't legitimately criticize a foreign government, and Israel is a foreign government, without immediately being called an anti-Semite. I think you can question foreign aid, you can question a foreign government, but I also think there are people that use that as the shroud of what they're really saying. And that is something I see in Mamdani and the people around him. It feels like, why are people surrounding synagogues? Why are churches burning in this city? There would be no tolerance on the left if people were surrounding mosques and doing the things we see certain portions. I want to make sure, because I don't condemn an entire group of people. There seems to be a license unrelated to Israel to go after Jews in New York. They seem to have an understanding like, hey, he's our guy. He doesn't seem apt to really put a stop to this. That there is a difference between criticism and license. And it seems like Mamdani and his inner circle blur that. Like what it is with his wife's posts about 10/7. I love my wife. That's not what I'm asking you. Does your wife think Hamas was justified in this sick, twisted invasion of Israel? It seems like he is sort of signaling, kind of like the guy with the 2 orange flashlights at the airport that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this goes far beyond criticism of Israel. Because another question you can look at is, how much does he spend time talking about what? So when he talks about international law a lot, and 100% of the time, it's just a way of talking about Israel, we see that there's really something else going on. And what he's attacking, he said Israel killed 70,000 people.
That's a lot of people in a zone of 2 million.
What he didn't mention is, that's like saying America killed 3 million people in World War II. How many of them were German soldiers? How many were Japanese soldiers? Of those 70,000 people Israel killed, close to half were Hamas fighters. Is he objecting to that? And the other half were the civilians that they were hiding behind. So what's he objecting to? He's essentially objecting to Israel fighting Hamas.
Last point, I lied. This is the last point. Is this going to change any voting habits amongst Jews in New York? Rudy Giuliani was a pretty damn good mayor. Okay?
Yeah.
Mike Bloomberg was an insufferable elitist, but he was a competent man. Okay? But it seems that the majority of Jewish voters in this country continue to vote for a party that is ever more throwing them overboard for the growing radical Islamic influence in the party.
Yeah, I think Jews are being very rapidly alienated from the Democratic Party. I think there's absolutely no doubt about it. I think Jews quite clearly see that Donald Trump is the most pro-Jewish, pro-Israel president ever. The problem is a lot of Jews, most Jews in America, I think, live in California and New York, which means they live in Democrat, the only choice in that. So they didn't support them.
I like to see the Florida breakouts.
Right. So in Florida, obviously, they support Governor DeSantis and they vote Republican because they can. Right. But the number of Jews in swing states is relatively limited. So say in Pennsylvania, Jews do seem to have played actually a significant role in Trump winning that state because it was purple and it was swing. But there's really just no one sees a way of swinging New York State, let alone New York City.
Okay. Well, the piece is at City Journal. The headline is Mamdani invokes international law against Israel. His appeals are euphemisms for talking about one particular group. Eugene Konorovich, thank you so much for joining us in the studio.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We are right. They are wrong. That's the end of the story. The arguments on this radio program cannot be broken. SiriusXM Patriot.
Draft a winning fantasy football team with the experts of SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Our first picks need to be the surest things on the board. They are a priority.
Your winning strategy, player protection, and expert drafts to help you build a championship team.
No, thank you. I'm not drafting a tight end and a quarterback in the early rounds.
We're talking fantasy football right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87. And check out our audio draft kit anytime on the SiriusXM app. Just search Draft Season.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Visit aquablation.com. Aquablation.com. That's aquablation.com. Visit aquablation.com. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include, but are not limited to, urinary symptoms, mild pain, infection,
is
or less
aquablation?
frequently, urethral or rectal injury, or ejaculatory dysfunction. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Business owners, tired of slow banks, piles of paperwork, and credit-based loan denials? At Signet, funding is based on your revenue, not your credit score. No red tape, no waiting weeks, just fast access to capital with real people who understand small business. You need to be in business at least 1 year and averaging $50,000 a month or more. Get started at signetfunding.com. No cost, no obligation. That's SIGNET funding.com. signetfunding.com.
Mariota here. When it comes to supplements, two things matter most: that it works and that you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, we'll let our customers do it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and we'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Joni shared that before Relief Factor, her husband couldn't open his hands in the morning and had to give up playing guitar. Now he wakes up with flexibility and he's back to playing music. They are both recommending Relief Factor to friends as a way to enjoy things they love again. I know that feeling. I take Relief Factor every single morning for my back issues. I don't take it, the back issues come back. Now they make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor helps you enjoy what you love. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF. You'll connect with our friendly local team, and they will do everything they can to help. We hope you'll soon be sharing your story with us as well. relieffactor.com, 800-4RELIEF.
Mike Slater. One of my favorite descriptions of an American comes from the Frenchman de Tocqueville in Democracy in America, 1831. He said, while the Europeans build these fancy boats and they have their veteran mariners, the American boats are fast and Americans are tough. And that's why we're the best. Been that way for hundreds of years. The more we tap into that, the even stronger we can be.
Breitbart News Daily with Mike Slater. Weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Patriot.
Freedom never gets old.
Do you really want another summer like last year? Barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? Well, people blame summer heat for bad sleep, when really it may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer is only making it worse. That's exactly why my family is switching to Ghost Bed. We have another one on the way. The first one came from my dad. Actually, we're painting the interior of the house. I'm like, don't buy any new furniture until we're done painting. All right? Because we're clearing stuff out, moving stuff to the middle of the room and all that. We've got a painter who's actually spackling the house today, right now. So, but my oldest is already on her Ghost Bed. She works all day at a summer camp, goes to field hockey practice in the evening. It's hot. She's cranky. She's achy. And she's been sleeping like a baby on her new Ghost Bed. And Ghost Bed frame, by the way, which doesn't require any tools to put together. It's also just comes in a box. You take the parts out, click, 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 done. And you put the mattress on. That's it. I mean, it's so easy. It is think about this. They got this cooling tech built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade that you have to pay extra for. And hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. Incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home, so you can sleep all through the rest of the summer and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is having their lowest prices of the year and an extra 10% off for my audience. Did I mention they're made in the USA? Did I mention Ghost Bed is made in the USA? Did I mention Ghost Bed is made in the USA? You know, with financing, some Ghost Beds come out to about $1 a day. Go to ghostbed.com/willcow. Ghostbed.com/willcow. Use promo code willcow. That's ghostbed.com/willcow. Promo code willcow.
Willcow majority. Lobbyists for the Constitution.
Have you noticed that I can point to all the garbage that's out there on social media and still I don't think it should be censored? There's a lot of garbage on social media. There's a lot of people with very strong opinions who pretend they're American. They're not. Thank you to Elon Musk for giving us that feature. But even with the sludge and some of the grotesque things that are on social media, I still do not want censorship. The answer to terrible, awful speech is more speech, not censorship, not somebody deciding who can say what, when, and where. 16695 Patriot 957-2874. Eric, Wisconsin, go ahead, you evil, heartless bastard.
Hi, Andrew. Thinking about Mandani, he is showing, and I'm using a umbrella term, Marxists, their proclivity to be authoritarian.
Well, yes, I mean, there is something to allowing looking the other way while something is happening that you should know is.
Fuck is this? Fucking ended the call. Stop. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but I mean, his desire to arrest Netanyahu, even though it's not anywhere near legal, to celebrate.
He would love to have that authority.
I have one other comment.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, he doesn't seem to agree with the wisdom that he would not be charged with carrying out or executing that warrant.
Right.
Which is funny because that's how these Democrat mayors punt him. Well, it's not our job. We're not going to give resources to immigration. Okay, so that's something that you don't think is your duty. Understood. And that this is also one of those things.
Speaking of immigration, while I was on hold, I was looking at the site, and according to the site I looked at, from 1820 to 1969, there were 47,300,000+ immigrants into this country. So over a century's worth of immigration, we had 47 million. Under Biden, we had 20 to 30 million in 4 years, for a perspective view of things.
Well, we have not done a very good job of upholding our immigration laws past few decades.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Again, people like to say, well, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan signed a piece of legislation known as Simpson-Mazzoli that was supposed to apply to 3 million people, almost exclusively of Mexican descent, and was supposed to be followed up with new border security approved by the Democrats, which they screwed him on, and Reagan considered it one of his greatest regrets.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a one and done, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was, and certainly look to what it led to. Thank you very much for the call. Diane, Easton, PA, go ahead, you evil, heartless babe. Sorry to keep you on hold for so long.
How?
Oh, no, that's okay. Unfortunately, I can't ever start listening to you until after work. When we were talking about the software issue with registering people to vote, but how does that convert to actual votes? Is she being questioned?
We don't even know. We truly don't know the extent. To be totally honest, we don't know.
Okay.
That's the truth. We really don't know. It's frightening that there is just so much dismissal of this. Like I said earlier, first they said it wasn't happening, then they said, well, it's small. Well, which is it? You said it wasn't happening. Now you have to admit it is happening. So, I think it's kind of silly that they're like, well, first it's not happening. Okay, it's happening a little. Then they're going to say, okay, it's happening, but Trump. Brian, Philadelphia, go ahead, you evil heartless bastard.
Andrew, love the show. I agree with you. I'm going to say 80% of the time. 30 seconds to get my whole point out here. First caller was very, I thought, reasonable. He said 70,000 casualties, and you took issue. So where do you get your numbers? Eugene, your guest, said the exact same number. You said zero, nothing. You didn't respond. And basically what Eugene said, you know, half of them, 35,000 Hamas, 35,000 civilian. And that leads to a great question. Is a 1-for-1 ratio, if you want to kill one,
and we don't even know if that's the case.
Just let me get to that part. Is it acceptable? Is it acceptable to kill one good guy? And I just got to say, from my background, I'm Irish American. I'm dual citizen. What the Irish did, blowing up pubs, was wrong. I'm able to say it. You gotta say the truth. That's my only point.
If I was insufficient, I apologize, but we don't have any real facts. What we have now...
That's the same number that you took issue with. That's my point.
Well, Hamas, I mean, I think he was just making an assumptive point. I don't think he had any real direct numbers.
But it's kind of coincidental.
If you want me to say that the killing of innocent civilians is always wrong, it is.
Andrew, I think the bigger point of this thing is, when this war started, you heard all the Israel Defense Forces going on and said, we take the greatest care not to kill civilians. If what your guest said was true, 1-to-1 ratio, is it okay to kill one? Is it for one bad guy?
You're talking about the difference between them shooting people that are innocent civilians and Hamas hiding amongst innocent civilians, launching their attacks. And if there's a strike, unfortunately, there are basically captives and hostages being held by Hamas in those locations.
My point as an Irish guy, it wasn't right for the Irish IRA.
But the IRA was bombing English pubs, trying to kill Englishmen.
I'm able to say it. They were my people.
I don't believe for a second Israel is purposely targeting people because the Palestinians.
You're right. I agree with you on that. But here's the thing. I don't think they've taken the greatest care if the ratio is one bad guy to one civilian.
I don't know if that's the case.
That's not a good ratio.
Again, I think there was a lot of assumption there. Thank you very much. And it would be a bad assumption if it was real. But I think it was a let's say if. Donna, Florida, go ahead, you evil heartless babe.
Hey, good afternoon. I just wanted to say that I feel like when Dommy's putting a target on BB's backs. And so when BB goes to New York for, the United Nations, or he stays at the Trump Tower, and then riots break out, and all this, sick stuff starts happening, I mean, then what? Everybody's going to cheer on, the attacks? I mean, it just, after everything that we've been through so far,
Sorry,
earlier.
I was there doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I was dealing with an email. Welcome in. Really occupied. Yeah. I didn't even title this one.
Okay.
So, but I feel like
this is police mobile camera. I want to see this.
His life's in danger, which it already is anyway. But it's just worse. And you're encouraging people to do a Charlie Kirk thing. You guys, they can't talk about anything. They're all about violence all the time.
Well, again, these people were supporting Hamas before there was any retaliation by Israel. They celebrated the attack on Israel. Alex, Florida, go ahead, you evil heartless bastard.
Hey, God, talk to you. Not only am I an evil heartless bastard, I'm an evil heartless patriotic bastard in fact.
Well, that's included. That's included.
10-year fan, going back to way earlier in your conversations about the voter. We've already got the solution. It's called the vote for the ID, the real ID. When I left New York in 2018 to move to Tennessee, I presented a birth certificate, and suddenly I got a star on my ID that indicated I'm a real American. It's not that hard to figure out. I don't know why idiots don't want to do it.
Actually, I am.
Going to the Israel issue, we can support the country of Israel, We can be questionable
Jesus
about
is
the
real.
government because they've been questionable without being anti-Semitic. The rest of the points I've heard are spot on, and I appreciate you so much. 10-year banned officially tomorrow.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I can't believe we're coming up on 20 years of this program. I mean, I can't believe it. All right, let's see. Let me take the break. We are going to wrap up the program. In the next segment, we are going to hand it off to Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Stacey Washington. We are right. They are wrong. That is the end of the story. The arguments on this radio program cannot, will not, will never be broken. Sirius XM Patriot.
It's Trey and Stacey from Fish.
Fish returns to Madison Square Garden in New York City for 5 nights.
Sounds like they blow the roof off the place. Hear every note from our show at the Garden.
Live on the band's exclusive channel. Night 1 is today.
We hit the stage around 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. On Fish Radio, Channel 29, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, if a family member or friend asked you for financial advice or where to go for tax help, well, would you send them somewhere with hundreds and hundreds of complaints? Of course not. That's why for years you've heard me say if you do owe back taxes, if you didn't file returns in years gone by, or if you are a business owner.
I think we're making progress just by us them having me open the place up. Or at least do the morning funding.
They are the only tax relief firm I trust and recommend. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They have protected so many of my listeners from tax disasters and saved them a ton of money. Call Rush Tax now for a free IRS transcript investigation, and they'll tell you upfront and for free if they can help you. They will only take your case if they know they can help you, period. 800-258-7050. 800-258-7050. RushTaxResolution.com. In a world drowning in AI everything, where your news feeds and shows get faked and filtered, there's still one place showing real stories, real moments, live. Reels Plus. Home to America's #1 cable entertainment program, On Patrol Live. Capturing police in real time across the U.S. Plus thousands of hours of true crime, policing, and celebrity stories. So escape the fake and choose what's real. Subscribe now for just $4.
Yeah, it was already there. I just marked it. It's there. It was already marked.
That's Reels for the Sea. Streaming apps. Running a small business is a daily balance. One late shift, one price off, one employee issue, and your whole month, maybe the entire year, could be in trouble. That's where LensSeek comes in. I needed $100,000 fast to keep up with inventory demands. LensSeek had me funded the same day I applied. Between our AI platform finding the fastest deal and a dedicated funding specialist guiding the process,
Get out the way with your electric Mustang. Oh, you hit the brakes? Idiots. What's this guy doing? Like a gravel hauler? I hate it when they get in front of me. Get out the way, motherfucker. Bitch, get out the way.
play you Camilla Jayapal, and then I'm going to play you Maria Elvira Salazar. And I have a problem here because I can't tell the difference between the two of them. One being one of the most left-wing wackos in this country, and one who calls herself a Republican. So play cut 8.
The immigration system? No. You know why? Because Republicans have,
I wish you did too, bud.
2013, when I was not in Congress, and I was advocating for immigration reform, there was a bipartisan bill. It passed the United States Senate with
Tell me, how does he sound any different?
I went from doing 68 to 77. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Our country depends on it. We depend on it. Let me tell you something. If our country is so dependent on illegals, we are more effed than we really know. What is the cost, Representative Salazar, of all these people in the country illegally? What is the cost? What are they contributing in taxes versus what we're spending on them? We already have the earned income tax credit. We're already giving out free health care. We're already giving out free housing. We're already giving out free education. What is coming in the form?
I'm not sure whether it's the phone or what. The phone is it's mounted. It's vibrating like crazy. I don't know if I got a
They
decent
make it sound like
adjustments.
there's no cost to illegal immigration. There's just no cost to it. These people are all coming here because out of the kindness of their hearts, and they want to do all the things apparently we can't do for ourselves or won't do for ourselves, or as a matter of fact, listening to the Democrats and some Republicans, we can't do anything for ourselves. How would we defend ourselves? How would we build a building? How would we dig a ditch? How would we, I don't know. We can't do anything without illegal immigration. We can't do anything without an open border. You like it static Google. Again, we're not against having lawful immigration where we determine the person seeking to join our society is likely to be a benefit. But listen, I mean, my God, oh, we have to do this. What other choice do we have? The fate of our country rests on bringing in more people from the third world and giving them voting. I don't know if does Maria Salazar think that if we legalize 20 to 40 million people, the Republican Party will see that's why Republican.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the vibration on my extra app or my extra iPad.
It's about enforcing the law.
That's fine.
I don't have to negotiate with people who want to come to this country, and I certainly don't have to negotiate with people who are in the country illegally. I don't owe you anything. I've actually read posting, seen people who say things like, if Republicans would just offer a better, just get with the program and offer a better deal, you need more free crap? Why do I have to offer someone who wants to come here anything? I don't have to offer them anything. Like we're like acting like this defeated group of people. Well, we just better get ready for Biden's decline. I don't see the advantage. I don't see the upside. I'm just bringing every single human being into the country that wants to come here with no vetting process. That's what it means to have CBP. They say abolish ICE. They also say abolish CBP. They don't want any border enforcement. Rubber stamp immigration. What the hell do you think this country would look like? Man.
No, this is Andrew Wilkow.
The other thing is,
I actually like him.
We don't need to import any more.
Like him better than Hannity.
We have enough Americans that are struggling every day.
He drives a Ranger Raptor.
Saying, well, if we just bring in more poor people, then poor people will have more power, and they'll be able to raise taxes and get more stuff for themselves. No, eventually, Margaret Thatcher is right. You run out of other people's money. You cannot have rising wages and an open border. And whatever floor you set, that'll be it. There's no such thing as an open border and a welfare state coexisting, and there's no such thing as an open border and wages that rise. At least not at the bottom level. Okay, if you're talking about low to no skilled jobs, even somewhat skilled jobs, if you're a bricklayer and there's 20 million people coming in who might know how to lay brick, not 20 million, but a substantial number, your wages are going to go down. Americans are not going to see general prosperity by bringing in people. When there's more labor than there are jobs, the price of labor goes down. That's it. It's not a theory. It's not an opinion. It's an absolute fact. If there's more labor than there are jobs, then the price of labor goes down.
Well, the thing is about these shows, and I agree, that's why I jump around between Rumble and listening to them on Patriot Radio, is this. Not just one single person is more repetitive. They all are reading the same stories each show. By the time you get to the third show, it's like, and guess what? Next will be Hannity, and then next will be Mark Levin. They'll all will read, different versions, different order, but Very rarely do you get. I like it when they do interviews and stuff, because then you get, you know, with Congress people, Senate, you know, anybody. But yeah, I agree. But he's not the only one that's repetitive. The topics are repetitive.
Follow me on Twitter at LocalMajority, at LocalMajority, at LocalMajority.
Now Hannity's coming on at 3, or a little after 3, and then he'll say a lot of the same shit.
Ask yourself this question: is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth: the average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options.
Flat tire, that sucks.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-848-1331. That's 800-848-1331. 800-848-1331.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I spent years living in fear of calcium oxalate crystal stones, always afraid of when the next one would hit. Now I just take Kidney Cop.
Battling calcium oxalate stones, it's time to try Kidney Cop, a doctor-recommended kidney supplement that has been shown in laboratory tests to reduce the growth rate of calcium oxalate crystals by 99%. Get Kidney Cop today at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com.
And like I said, my dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. I struggled super hard, obviously, in the family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife, and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Slater.
Freedom never gets old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125.
This hour at Town Hall, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warning Asian leaders today that Iran's demand to control and collect tolls in the Strait of Hormuz could threaten the world's economy and set a precedent that could be repeated elsewhere.
Commercial ships are going through the straits and they're being blown up. The United States is defending that shipping, and in addition, is targeting the places that are launching against those ships to continue to degrade Iran's ability to target and harm global shipping.
Secretary Rubio speaking to reporters in the Philippines at an annual meeting in the Philippine capital city. Tropical storm Bertha creeping along the Gulf Coast today toward the edge of Louisiana, spinning out strong winds far from its center, and it is those winds, not so much the rainfall, that poses the greatest danger this time around, according to Robbie Berg at the National Hurricane Center.
Rainfall becomes really more important when we're talking about strong hurricanes, because that's where we would tend to have an eye wall set up with the strongest winds. In this particular case with Bertha, it's not very well defined by the center. There is no eye wall, so where that center comes ashore plays less of a role in how bad the conditions may be.
The storm was expected to lose strength as it went throughout the rest of the week, but forecasters warn it could still produce damaging winds and coastal storm surges along with isolated flooding. 2 private companies launched a mission to extend the life of some old satellites in orbit.
Go Falcon, go MLB, and go MET.
That's SpaceX rockets taking Northrop Grumman's 2-armed space robot into orbit from Cape Canaveral, a private salvage operation to slap life-extending jetpacks on aging communication satellites running low on fuel. Northrop Grumman's mission robotic vehicle, the NRV, and its jetpacks will spend the next year angling into the proper orbit more than 22,000 miles above Earth. I'm Ben Thomas.
More of these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment, on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Extensive wildfires have hit several towns in Sicily and in both large areas in central Spain as the hot, dry weather continues in parts of Europe.
Firefighters in central Spain are battling a massive wildfire in Guadalajara, which has burned around 30,000 hectares. That's around 74,000 acres. This comes less than 2 weeks after a deadly fire in southern Spain killed 13 people. Spain Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez in the Guadalajara town Tamahom has urged political unity to combat climate change. He tells local people and officials there's been 4 times more major fires.
Look at that fucking big-ass fucking trailer.
More than 100,000 hectares have been scorched as a result of fires throughout Spain. I'm Charles Silvestre.
Of all the eastern states impacted by this week's powerful storms, West Virginia may be among the hardest hit. Governor Patrick Morrisey has now dispatched hundreds of National Guard members to the northern part of his state. You'll find breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is legal and it does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old, not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
You should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history. Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Did you hear Jasmine Crockett's newest dumbass take on the World Cup? She's like, if you were rooting for Spain, you're racist. Well, both countries are socialist countries, so both of them are Hispanic. Where the Spain comes from Hispanic. So glad that this is her last term. Ooh, Matt Morse is on. Let's see if he has a repeat take of what everybody else is doing too. Oh, I didn't know Trump delivered it. I guess Trump's in Marietta, Georgia, getting ready to do an address. Delivering remarks, it says.
military targets. The Iranian regime, they have been attempting to blow up civilian, unaffiliated, random civilian vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. That's a different type of transgression altogether. We're talking about Pickaxe Mountain. The Iranian regime has reportedly relocated many of their nuclear centrifuges into this deep mountainside granite underground bunker. Right now, people are speculating as to whether or not Trump is going to drop a nuclear 5-kiloton bunker buster bomb. It might be the only way to blow up this bunker. Let's keep on listening.
We follow the material. That's where the action is. And we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily.
While both the United States and Iran have left open the door for a diplomatic solution, no breakthrough has been reached yet, despite efforts from Qatar and Pakistan. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said earlier today that Iran is not serious about talks right now.
We remain open to diplomacy. We remain open to working it out in a negotiated way. But right now, they don't seem to be serious about that. And so we're going to continue to protect shipping. We think other countries should join us in that endeavor. We don't need them to, but they should, because they're more impacted by it than we are. And at the same time, we are going to, when the opportunity presents itself, degrade their ability to target global shipping.
President Trump will leave shortly for the dignified transfer of those 4 fallen U.S. service members who were killed over the weekend. But again, major news this morning, Shannon, President Trump issuing this new warning to the Iranian regime. Target a vessel in the Strait of Hormuz, and there will be a heavy price to pay.
A very unprecedented heavy price to pay. We're talking about Bridge and Power Plant Day. Now, the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, his name is Galibaf, this morning, following this series of events, released his own statement publicly. He said, "The equation of this war is very clear. Either all or none," says Iranian Galibaf. He says, "In a region where we do not sell oil, no one will sell oil." He says, "If our Iranian regime security is not ensured, no infrastructure in the region will be safe, and the security of the Strait of Hormuz is in the absence of American forces. We have repeatedly said that the situation of the Strait will not return to pre-war conditions." And this has been a sticking point coming from the Iranian regime. They are refusing to return the Strait of Hormuz to pre-war conditions. Really, why? What do they want? They want to lock down this international waterway. They don't own it. It's called the Strait of Hormuz. They do not own it. However, now what they are demanding is that it belongs to them and that they have the right to impose fines or fees or tolls on every single vessel going in and out. This is obviously unacceptable. But this is the sort of irreconcilable difference that literally the entire world has with the Iranian regime right now. No, you don't get to just take complete and total control of international waterways, like the Hormuz in this case, and start charging people money. No, you don't. Now, Marco Rubio says this morning. Take a listen.
I just want to reiterate once again, the United States is always committed to diplomacy. We are open-minded and always willing to engage in negotiated settlements of differences. And that remains true in the case of Iran. Unfortunately, as of now, despite their direct outreaches, and Iran has been reaching out to the United States, both directly and indirectly, to engage in talks about settling the differences with regards to what's happening in that part of the world. Unfortunately, so far, even though we have reached agreements, they have not kept their commitments. And as the president stated earlier today, I guess, today Washington time, yesterday our time here now, the problem we're having right now is that they're not serious about talks. If they're serious, we're serious. If they're not, then we will do what is necessary to protect our interests and also the interests of our allies. At its core, it's very simple. Iran demands the right, which they do not have under any existing legal mechanism, to control the transit of traffic through the Straits of Hormuz. This is an international waterway.
Yep.
And of all the regions in the world, the one I don't need to...
Screwed it up. Nice job, Doc. Screwed it up. Clearly screwed it up. New Jersey, actually. He's been on a lot of different radio stations, though. Andrew Wilkow. Wilkow Majority. He goes by. We'll go back to him for now. Rumble's not acting right.
I wrote him back. That's
no, that's Hannity shit.
Is that an accurate way?
Well, he's very direct. I'll give him that.
If this is all repeat shit.
Well, let me give people a hint. The best part is it's language you would approve of. I mean, let's be real here. Let's keep it real. And was I really hurt? No, I wasn't hurt at all. I mean,
I think you were super sad. I think you were.
No, I was not super sad. I actually think that Trump lives rent-free in his head, and I live rent-free in his head, and I'm happy about that. I mean, it's sort of like when Obama was running. I mean, he kept mentioning me and mentioning me and mentioning me and attacking me and mentioning me again. And all of a sudden, Mr. Burgess to Hannity would tear him up. I thought that was a threat against my own personal safety. I keep, Hannity wants to have a beer with me. Well, I said I'd pay for it in the spirit of spreading the wealth. Never had the beer with me. Never did an interview with me, and I frankly didn't even want one. But we now have an interesting divide that seems to be emerging. You've got these primary victories by, I call them the
all I had was that biscuit today.
The DSA candidates.
So probably a little bit later.
The New York Times is
we'll see.
That traditional
depends on who's cooking.
Latino American power in New York City seems to be eroding. I honestly think that if New York does not elect Bruce Blakeman in this election cycle, if California does not elect Steve Hilton in this election cycle, I think these states are done. I think it's over. There's too much wealth that is left, too many people with industry that are leaving, and I'm not sure you're ever going to bring these people back. And those people have moved. I mean, when you have all these, I always talk about Wall Street South, and that means if you're down in Miami, South Florida, all the way up to West Palm Beach, Florida, every big bank, every private equity firm, every investment firm, you name it, they are here, and there are more employees in South Florida, Wall Street South, than there are on Wall Street. That tells you everything you need to know. When you have a referendum on the ballot this November in the state of California that would create a wealth tax, and it results in Mark Zuckerberg leaving the state. say what you will about wealthy people. I've met a lot of wealthy people in my life. I never met those people that were given the money. I always met the people that made it on their own. I'm not people that have a silver spoon in their mouth. And they all have fascinating stories to, talk about, how they goods and services they created. They'll all talk about the hand of God in their life, or most of them will. I had one guy that didn't believe in God, became one of the wealthiest guys in the country. And he started asking me about my career and how I was successful. I said, I have an undeserved life. I think God blessed me. And he couldn't believe my answer. He started questioning me. Well, you didn't work hard? You didn't do this yourself? I'm like, well, I just believe that God blessed me. And in the course of the discussion, it turns out he's an atheist. I'm like, you're really wealthy, but you're kind of poor because you're missing out, I think, on one of the most important elements of life. Anyway, rich as hell. I'm like, well, when you die, what's going to happen in this guy's case to the billions of dollars that he made in his life? Very smart guy, respect him a lot, but I'm just kind of shocked. But anyway, so this New York Times piece goes on. 5 years ago, Eric Adams' victory in his Democratic mayoral primary seemed to signal a high watermark for African-American political power, and Adams would become the city's second African-American mayor. Alvin Bragg was New York City's district attorney. Hakeem Jeffries, is the House Minority Leader. By 2025, the political winds have shifted. Zoran, Marxist, Kami Mamdani won the Democratic primary without the support of a majority of African Americans, once thought to be a prerequisite for New York. And many of these candidates, remember, he unseated 3 incumbent congresspeople with these radicals that are part of this, socialist communist movement. And the New York Post goes on to say that many African-American, Hispanic-American political leaders now view the largely lily-white lefty faction with a mix of skepticism and outright alarm. Now, I say to Bruce Blakeman, that might present an opportunity for you. I remember when Ronald Reagan famously went to the Bronx and campaigned there, and, was kind of being attacked by somebody that went out to see him, and he said, I can't help you if you don't elect me. I can't do a thing if you don't elect me. Good luck getting that from me. It's a pretty powerful moment. I was living there. Moment. But Democrats now are completely blind to this, coup that has taken place. Now, are they blind, or are they just, turning a blind eye to what they know is a dangerous turn of events that's going to put their electoral chances at odds? And I would argue it's the latter. By the way, Jasmine Crockett is back, trying to call Argentina racist during the World Cup, embarrassing herself. I mean, poor Jasmine. She lost to cisgender Tellerico. She lost to God is non-binary Tellerico. Welcome out at the border Tellerico. Biological men should have access to abortion. And I'm like, I didn't know that biological men can have babies. Did I get something wrong? I must have failed and they just passed me along because I was a good athlete in school. I have no idea how we got to that point. None at all. I mean,
maybe you should talk to Ashley Webb. I hear he's got it down pat. Absolutely.
Well, do you want to invite? This is the main candidate that was.
Oh my God, no! I'm being facetious. No, do not.
No, I want you. No. Now that you brought it up, I'm saying go ahead, try and book this person.
No.
What do you mean no? You don't get to say I'm the boss. No, remember the boss.
I'm saying it.
Boss.
Please.
No.
I'm actually begging.
Sign somebody else. I don't care if you're begging. You want me to ask Ethan to do it?
Sure, Ethan.
Hey, what the?
There's that bus running over you.
Born on America's darkest day, 9/11/01, the Tunnels to Towers Foundation, our friends, they have been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like U.S. Navy cryptology technician Shannon Kent. Now, Shannon's service was inspired by the 9/11 attacks. A decorated warrior, mother, Shannon served multiple tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, and she joined this activity command when it was established. And Shannon tragically lost her life in a suicide bomb attack in Syria. Now, this is the 25th anniversary year of 9/11. It's hard to believe. Her sacrifice does remind us of the cost and the lasting impact of that day. 9/11 related illness is very real. Shannon left behind her husband, their 2 young sons, and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to pay off the Kent family mortgage, and that gave her family the security of knowing that their home is theirs forever. Now, there are plenty more families that need our help. Please donate today. You can give a car, you can give land, you can give a big donation, or forego 2 Starbucks a month, donate $11 a month. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org. The letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Coast to coast, border to border, Sean Hannity is on the radio right now. 250 years ago, the number 13 became legendary. 13 colonies with one bold vision declared themselves a nation. Led by George Washington, they forged the bravest experiment in liberty the world had ever seen. To honor America's 250th birthday, a magnificent tribute, the 2026 George Washington 24-karat gold dollar. Exclusively from the first colonial mint, this .311 gram, 11 millimeter gold coin is the official Ascension Island gold dollar. Struck in pure 24-karat gold, it's the world's first 13-sided gold coin. Minted in limited quantity with a stunning proof finish. It features Washington's portrait, 13 brilliant stars, and a golden eagle design inspired by the gold coin Washington himself carried. For a limited time, a special price of just $69 plus shipping has been established with a strict limit of 1 per household. Claim yours at 800-885-1313.
I've seen about a dozen piggies
That's
today.
800-885-1313.
Why this
800-885-1313.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-317-2244. 800-317-2244. Again, that's 800-317-2244.
What's the most disruptive, dangerous weather threat on the golf course, the water, hiking, or watching the game? Yeah, it's lightning. Flash AI, the world's only lightning prediction app, generates revolutionary lightning forecasts that update every 2 minutes. You'll get alerts about an approaching or developing storm up to an hour before lightning strikes nearby. Flash is amazingly accurate and only $3.99 a month. Go to your app store and put lightning protection in your hands today.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, getting headlines or insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
I'm Sherry, owner of Life Source Water. Your tap water isn't as clean as you think. The city water is full of contaminants, including chlorine and microplastics. At Life Source, we believe your water should support your family's health. Our whole house system delivers filtered water from every tap, even your showers. For over 40 years, we've proudly built every system right here in the USA. Upgrade your water today by calling 1-800-WATER-99 or visit LifeSourceWater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
Warranty limitations apply. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more, you can try taking on the IRS alone, or you can get help. And choosing a tax resolution company that actually delivers can be tricky. Priority Tax Relief stands out with proven results, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a strong 4.9-star Google rating because we fight for big savings. Our tax professionals will call the IRS with you for free. They will have you connected within minutes to put a hold on your account and start negotiating a settlement all before you pay a dime. We've helped thousands settle for pennies on the dollar. If you're facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or IRS letters, our team has a direct IRS relationship for faster resolutions. Whether you owe the IRS $5,000 or hundreds of thousands, we handle every case with care and urgency. Don't risk it on flashy promises. Call Priority Tax Relief now to see what savings you qualify for. Call 800-638-1845. 800-638-1845. That's 800-638-1845.
This is SiriusXM Patriot, Channel 125.
You know, maybe the last time that New York and California have a chance of changing the trajectory of where the states are headed. We'll check in with Steve Hilton later. We got to get Bruce Blakeman on the show, Linda. I want to get him on. Also, we'll check in with All Things Simple Man, self-proclaimed, Bill O'Reilly. He apparently had a big fight with Chris Cuomo. I'm still angry to this day at Andrew Cuomo, what he did in New York with COVID. I'm apoplectic still about it.
When it comes to our cars, those infotainment screens, turbos, advanced transmissions, and cameras are all great until they fail. And if your car is out of warranty, repairing them can cost thousands. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, make sure you're covered for auto repair bills with an auto protection plan from Endurance. They've paid out hundreds of millions in claims and help drivers with plans that cover engine, drivetrain, electrical system, transmission, and more. Endurance gives you straightforward claims processing and direct payment to your certified mechanic. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. When your check engine light comes on, don't ignore it because you're worried about a big auto repair bill. Call Endurance and choose the plan that's right for you. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-280-2169. 800-280-2169. 800-280-2169.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
In a world drowning in AI everything, where your news feeds and shows get faked and filtered, there's still one place showing real stories, real moments, live. Reels Plus. Home to America's #1 cable entertainment program, On Patrol Live, capturing police in real time across the U.S., plus thousands of hours of true crime, policing, and celebrity stories. So escape the fake and choose what's real. Subscribe now for just $4.99 per month and get a free 7-day trial at ReelsPlus.com. That's Reels with a Z, or anywhere you get your streaming apps.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at AbacusPays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value for your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at AbacusPays.com.
So when I ask, what is Odoo? What comes to mind? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth.
But, some people also say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. I mean, whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So, what is Odoo? Well, I guess Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is fertilizer magic beanstalk building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it. Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Here's the deal. The tax code is famously complicated, so it's easy to see why so many people fall into debt with the IRS every year. Now they're stuck dealing with the most powerful collection agency in the world on their own. The IRS can garnish your wages, seize your bank account, even take your home or business. Scared? Worried? Overwhelmed? That's where we come in. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our licensed award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day. We protect our clients and prepare them for the best possible resolution. And guess what? We love doing this. We're real people who enjoy helping other people when they need us most. Give us a call. Call 800-613-8836. 800-613-8836. 800-613-8836. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Drip Drop is doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro sports teams, Drip Drop is engineered to hydrate faster and more effectively than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Stock up now at DripDrop.com and use promo code RADIO20 for 20% off your first order. That's DripDrop.com, promo code RADIO20.
Hi, it's Terry Williams, president and owner of One United Bank. Ever wanted more clarity about your money so you can go from spender to super saver? Upgrade with Wise One AI Money Management built with Google Gemini. It's like having a personal financial coach in your pocket. Wise One speaks human, not bank. Ask questions and get the truth. First of all, we offer Wise One as a standalone subscription service, so you don't have to switch banks to get it. Go to OneUnited.com today.
St. Louis, channel 125, and on the SiriusXM app.
He never stops working for the good of the country. Sean Hannity with behind-the-scenes information on today's breaking news. Hannity is on right now. 9:25 now till the top of the hour. 800-941-SEAN if you want to be part of the program. Look, here's the hard truth. Numbers don't lie. And, we've been tracking the price of the S&P 500. Gold and silver over the last 5 years between January 2022, May 2026 peaks. The results are pretty staggering. S&P 500 up a healthy 45%. Gold up 110%. Silver, a staggering 415%. I did not see that coming. So here's the question. Are you holding the right assets? This is where it is, it literally pays to be diversified. When I first started to save money, somebody told me, just put a percentage of your savings in gold and silver. And I've kind of done it my whole life. And this is where my friends, and I'm a customer of Goldco, come in, and my partners, because they're on the show. I found them to be the best metals company out there. They're offering you, my audience, because they like an educated population, a gold and silver kit, show you the ropes, educate you about the power of gold and silver so you can make informed decisions. And you can also qualify for an extra 10% in bonus free gold or silver just for getting started. Anyway, don't let the offer pass you by. Check it out today. 855-815-GOLD. 855-815-GOLD. One more time, 855-815-GOLD today. All right, so I don't think Linda wants me to say Pimple one more time. I think Linda's very upset over the over the phrase pimp. Where did you become, sensitive Sally all of a sudden? Where did that come from?
I am not engaging.
That's a first too.
It's so gross.
Okay, have you ever had a pimple in your life? I mean, come on, be real.
Yes, but do we need to discuss it? It's so gross. Ew, gross.
You all people. I mean, if I were to ever...
What does that mean?
Okay, how many F-bombs do you think you drop a day? You're the only person for 10 years, and running, tried to give up cussing for Lent, and you fail within an hour every time you try.
That's true, which is why this year I surrendered and I gave up chocolate.
Okay, which, by the way, was a layup for you and not a big deal. Let's stop. Let's, give up the
At least
one
it
thing
was
that
successful.
Okay, so you can't give up the one thing that you just cling to. And I'm not buying... You sound like a liberal when you do this, because then you're saying that you have no control over yourself, and I'm not buying
It's the meanest thing you've ever said to me. Don't say that to me.
No, I'm saying it because it's true. If you put your mind towards giving up, let's say, just give up the F-bomb this time. Why don't we start with one word? We can move on from there. Why don't you give up
It's
that
impossible.
word?
There's way too many liberals, and they're far too annoying for me to give up any swearing. That's why baby Jesus asked me to do it.
Okay, liberals make excuses, and you sound like a liberal. You're making an excuse.
I'm not making an excuse. I'm giving a reason. It's a very different thing.
How about if the SAVE Act is passed, she'll give it up? No.
Oh my God, I would totally give it up for the SAVE Act. Yes.
Okay, but so if you can give it up for the SAVE Act, you can't give it up for Jesus during Lent. What is up? What is wrong with you?
During Lent, people tend to sin more, and then I get mad and I curse. But if I could save, the United States of America,
the SAVE Act passes. It's not. No, nothing will stop it because you choose not to.
What does John Solomon think? John, you're smart about everything.
We're going to get to John in a second. I'm just saying.
I want John on my side. I need him.
I'm on Linda's side on this one.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
John, thanks a lot, man. Really? Seriously? Anyway, John Solomon, justthenews.com, founder, editor-in-chief, chief investigator, reporter. John, why are you standing up for this liberal rationalization that she cannot control herself?
Well, I don't think it's a liberal rationalization. It's the liberal's fault that she can't control herself. That's really the real story here.
Okay, now you're blaming other people for her behavior. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to do heroin because liberals pissed me off so much that I needed to fix it to numb the pain.
You got to admit, though, liberals are responsible for weaker election security. That's a legitimate blame game, don't you think?
Amen.
By the way, I got to get John. I don't know what's gotten into you. I mean, this is my conclusion. John has been the last week, and we've reposted, I think, a number of them, on fire, calling out the fake news media. You have been ripping these people. Now, John, they've earned it. But for all the years we were doing Russia, the Russian hoax, and, the dirty disinformation dossier, and the lost servers, and, just for 3.5 years deep dive, and even, anything, that investigative thing that we've done, we've done it, you've been the guy that breaks the most stories because you're the best reporter out there. And then now, all of a sudden, you're like pissed, and you're calling them out by name. I don't recall you ever doing that before.
I'll tell you the personal experience, because it really did affect me. I've always argued that journalism still has an important role, and that maybe there's some good journalists left. I brought a bunch of journalists in the night before the president's speech, and we showed them all the documents. We went through all the documents. We showed them factually that what the president was saying was 100% true, that the intelligence agencies had signed off on what the president would say in the speech, and then they all went out and made up stories. They just went out and made up stories. They ignored facts that the American people could benefit from. They tried to turn the speech into something it wasn't, and I have to admit, it finally wore out my last belief in journalism. There's just journalists don't want to do their job anymore, so I decided, no, I'll just blow the whistle a little bit, and that's what I've been doing.
Well, when you say facts, what you're saying is with the president and declassification is, and this was during his first term, this was after his first term, even into his second term. These are intelligence documents and other information that showed that our government believed we had vulnerabilities on a lot of fronts, like illegal immigrants registered to vote, which I'm going to ask you about specifically in a minute, or the fact that the communist Chinese, this is not John Solomon saying it, it's not Sean Hannity saying it. These are declassified documents that say it. And they had no interest in the legacy media to cover the speech, never mind spend the time and actually read the documents that were declassified. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, they had a pre-written
narrative. Take a little bit
long
in the tooth to start something like that, though.
Donald Trump wanted to relitigate
Yeah,
the 2020 election with this speech, and that's not what the president
Rogan's
did.
been doing it for how long, and all these other guys have been doing it for 10 to 20 years.
24, and where they are vulnerabilities that we can close.
They started with a decent following because they were popular at something else. Nobody.
Very careful to lean forward in his speeches to provide a factual basis for what he was saying, and the media would not let him do it. They just.
So let me be clear. He actually said there were vulnerabilities, and I don't recall him ever saying it happened. Do you?
No, he didn't. He wasn't even about litigating. He said this is about the future, not the past. And then he went through what they learned, which is that starting in the January of 2020, the CIA was concerned that 5 separate foreign powers had the ability to breach our machines because of some vulnerabilities we left. Then he went into the fact that China bought, stole, and hacked 220 million voter registration files, a major breach, the largest breach of voter data in American history. And then third, that 220 million, 280,000 non-citizens based on the voter.
Illegals.
Yeah. And these are basically, they're not illegals. They could be legally here, but
I could do it. I've actually probably have most of the equipment I need to start it at the house.
When someone checks the box saying I'm a non-citizen and they got on the voter roll, easy to make the case that they're a non-citizen. Just ask New Jersey. They had to admit to that a couple days ago. So he had these fact points that were irrefutable enough. So
I got so much going on.
All said, yep, we signed up for the president.
I think I'm busy now. Wait till we take control of the bar completely.
And again, he never said it happened. He said it's a vulnerability. By the way, we shouldn't have vulnerabilities. Number 2, the SAVE Act is about proof of citizenship and voter ID. Now, you referred to New Jersey. Now the DOJ has opened an investigation into New Jersey's voting registration system. The governor there, Mikey Sherrill, admitted, quote, that the motor voter program registered 6,600 non-citizens to vote. Now, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights of the DOJ, Harmeet Dillon, posted a letter on X warning Sherrill, quote, ensuring that U.S. citizens' votes are not illegally diluted by non-citizens' votes is of paramount importance. We therefore write to formally request additional information to assess New Jersey's compliance with various federal statutes as provided in our July 7th, 2026 letter to the Lieutenant
Well, if it's for the right thing, yeah.
Requested the names and other information
may have
on these 6,600 non-citizens registered to vote, as well as similar information about 400 people that they identified that were able to cast illegal votes in the state.
Fort Wayne again very
so
soon.
Now this is a specific claim.
They want the Google Maps recording done already to try and get us verified. I told them I couldn't do it until they have an occupancy permit. Even if he wants to doctor one up, he can.
That show that they are a foreigner, that they're not yet a citizen of America, are on the voter rolls based on the data match with the Homeland Security Department. Again, by the way, they've done it in cooperation with a lot of other states and found identical numbers. The states and the Homeland Security Department agree in cooperating states. New Jersey wasn't one of those cooperating states, so Homeland did it on its own. We found about 30,000.
Dude, easy.
Just in this first subset. So what happens is they put that number out Thursday night, and Mikey Sherrill comes out, the government say another conspiracy theory by Donald Trump. It wasn't. In fact, she acknowledged yesterday she knew last week that she had non-citizens on her voter roll. She just waited a few days after the president's speech to reveal it. What she's admitting to 6,600 people who are foreigners got onto the New Jersey voter rolls, and because of that, 400 of them actually cast a vote. That's the largest block of foreigners ever known to have been voted in any election in American history, certainly the largest conglomeration. But that may not be the total universe. There's still that other 24,000 that Homeland Security is looking at. But in her statement, the reason Harmeet Dillon is likely investigating this is she made 2 claims. I knew about this last week. So the question is, if you knew about it last week, why did you call the president's speech disinformation? And two, she suggested that perhaps her predecessor, Phil Murphy, the former Democrat governor, knew about it because she lambasted him for not fixing this the last 2 years, thus implying that maybe they knew about it. If anyone in New Jersey state government knew that there were non-citizens on the rolls, or more importantly, had voted, it did do something about it, it likely will result in criminal charges. So that's why the DOJ jumped in so quickly today. And I want to point out one other thing about Mikey Sherrill's statement, because it's something that we broke this morning. The French company that does the data work for the motor voter in New Jersey, that's important to note. A foreign company is doing work on an American election process. But given that the company is respectful, I'm not going to pick on it, but it's an interesting factoid. But that company came out and saying today what Governor Sherrill said yesterday, there was some computer glitch that caused this. It's not true. Our software worked exactly the way it is. It was New Jersey that decided to leave these people on their voter roll, not our company, not our software. They directly contradicted the Democratic governor's first explanation for why these 6,600 made it, why these 400 voted. That is another red flag for the Justice Department when you see a governor and their contractor saying that they don't have the same story. So I think that's what's going on right now at DOJ.
All right. So now I would imagine New Jersey is probably not an isolated incident. Now this is a guess. But I would imagine, if the president says that there was information within our intelligence within our intelligence community of 250,000 illegals that are illegally registered to vote, that's probably a real number. That to me is a massive problem. China, 220 million people, and the president, says these documents show that they have the names, addresses, phone numbers, party affiliation of 220 million Americans. Last time I checked, John Solomon, they're our top geopolitical foe.
They are. And the intelligence community in the January 2020 document that the president was kind enough
Red Bull out the window ahead of me. It's a brand new can. Cans don't last that long on the road. It was bouncing still.
You would go out and vote for people, and you'd show up at the poll and say, "No, you can't vote because someone voted for you already." Or two, they would change your voter registration to a different address. You'd show up with your voter ID, and they'd go, "No, that's not your address." Or three, they'd register you in another state. You never know that you voted in another state. And four, they can take the information about you and then start targeting you and your friends to try to influence and change the way you thought about elections. They know that you might have voted in a Republican primary or a Democrat primary, so they might send you information to try to dissuade you of your political preferences. That's what the intelligence community assessed in January 2020. And they also assessed at that moment, at the beginning of the 2020 election, that voter registration data was the most vulnerable data in the system, that it could easily be hacked. And then a few months later, the acquisition by China of voter files began. It started with commercial sales, eventually moved towards hacking and other things. And by 2023, because the intelligence community basically kept silent about it, China had gotten 230 million voter files, basically all the adult voter files in America, at least some is equal to that or a little bit more. So the silence allowed China to succeed. And what President Trump laid out last Thursday was, here's how we're going to fix it going forward. That is why this is such an important revelation.
What do we do from here? How do we get this resolved and get this right? And I want integrity in this. I don't want to cheat. I don't want any added advantage. I want integrity in our elections and confidence in results.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what the president said in the speech, and he laid out a plan. So plan part one is to close those vulnerabilities in the machines. They're things like programming code. They can be done quickly. Wayne Mullen, the Homeland Security Secretary, laid out a specific plan of how states can get the machines patched and fixed so that there's no problems for the November 26th election. That installs confidence. The second thing is the best way to deal with voter identity theft, which is what basically China engaged in, is to have both a citizenship check. What the FBI told us last year, that they caught China trying to send in businesses to help rob some fake votes for Joe Biden. That's a plot that the FBI investigated back
company. You get the same cell tower, same 5G network, same exact service. Average family saves over $1,000 a year. Now, for the first time, they are offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months. They've never done this before. That includes their unlimited data plans, even their top tier $65 plan. $15 a month, your first 3 months. Average family already saves $1,000 a year on average.
Let's see if it comes back.
And for the exact same service. Make the
We're back.
switch. Dial pound 250. Say the keyword save now. Pound 250. Keyword save now to my wireless company, a veteran-owned company.
I think I'm around these semis. Their signal blast is when they're on their CBs and shit is probably killing my signal.
Wesley Financial Group is not offer. Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDonald, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
Crossing over, homie.
Over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it.
I'll be off the turnpike in a little bit over 3 miles, so if he wants to get over, he can.
Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare?
Giving him room to do it.
Simply call us, and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains
all
your
trap
options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-848-1331. That's 800-848-1331. 800-848-1331.
Yeah, but if I don't know the password, my system should not be trying to connect to him, you know?
Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work
Maybe
to
interfering,
benefit corporate
you know,
stores.
on the same
Cut corners on your credit card security, putting your
Wi-Fi
personal
channels,
data
because there's multiple channels on
Big chain
Wi-Fi, so
retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits. And liberal
channel
Dick
40
Durbin
is
would help them
the
do
most
it.
common, channel
Tell
2 is the
senators,
second most
say
common.
no to the
Just
mega
depends
story
on whether
and
you're
Dick
running
Durbin, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Wi-Fi, 2.4, 5, or 6.
Carrier, and I'm happy to announce we're raising pay by 4 cents per mile for our national drivers. Our second pay raise this year. Starting pay on our OTR fleet is now 68 to 73 cents per mile. And remember, we pay practical miles, not short route.
My router here in my truck is
if you have at least 1 year of experience, call us today at
goes up all the way up to I believe. Let me see.
You can argue opinions all day long, but you can't
It's
argue results. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, your founder of Rough Greens.
No,
And
it's
for
5.
years,
Okay.
the big pet food companies have told you that their
And it was
food
5G
has everything
at
your
5,
dog
so
needs. But here's the truth.
it's supposed to be
That
running
pet
at
food
around
is
50
cooked at such high
megabits. So
temperatures, it's dead food. And when you feed dead food day in and day out,
on average,
itchy
of course,
skin,
you know,
achy joints,
cell.
low energy, and
But there's usually along turnpikes and stuff like this, you know, you got regular intervals, like right in front of us, we have another cell tower. We'll see probably another one before we even get off the freeway, or right as we get off the freeway. Usually they're within a mile or so of each other.
And even the pickiest eaters are licking their bowl clean. That's proof the industry can't deny it. I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to see it for yourself. I'll send you a free Jumpstart.
Yeah, it's newer.
You discover the shipping. Go to
I mean, my phones are capable of Wi-Fi 6. Actually, my Samsungs are capable of Wi-Fi 7. There's not a whole lot of routers that broadcast on that. Yeah, I said that. I was muting because I got a call. Sorry. Busy. Work shit. Find a
Bill O'Reilly, Steve Hilton
show
is
to
gaining ground in California. That's all coming up. And your call is 800-941
raid.
Sean straight ahead.
I can't get enough unique viewers. I'm going to
When an earache strikes you,
overdo the raids.
Introducing Earache RX pain relieving eardrops from Dr. Easy, the makers of Wax RX. With 4% lidocaine, Earache RX eardrops have real medicine. The maximum strength available without a prescription. Strong enough for adults, yet gentle enough for kids. Earache RX eardrops are perfect for the discomfort from swimmer's ear too. Get I appreciate it. I'm happy you're a part of the community. We've got some real good members of this community. Thank you very much. Billy Johnson says, you said only spamming is the only rule in chat. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that's in reference to, but hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Was somebody doing something in chat they shouldn't have done? Norris Force 1, he says, Mike Tyson, best quote ever. He said, quote, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. True. Meaning these people want all this until someone does something crazy to a loved one.